Hey everybody, and welcome to December's edition of Board Game Buys. This is where I take a look at all of the games that I acquired over the last month, just to give you an idea about what is coming up on the channel. Now, quite a few of these games I've already covered, but there's still a lot here that I haven't, and I think I have around 22 games here to talk about, so quite a lot to get through. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to the show's sponsor, KIENDA.co.uk, who are my go-to online retailer, and if you use the link in the show notes or the QR code, then you can get 5% off your first order. But let's start with probably the biggest game out of the lot of them. This is Civolution. So I've yet to put this one in a ranking video, but that one will be coming up soon. But spoiler alert, if you've watched my Games of the Year top 10s, then this one has been quite heavily featured. So, I do like this one a lot. Definitely Steffenfeld's biggest game to date. A kind of Civilization style game, mixed with more traditional Euro trappings. But again, this one's going to be featured heavily on the channel going forward. And it's going to be, quite a regular feature. So that is Civolution. Also, very kindly, I've given a review copy of The Land of Galzyr. So this one I've heard a lot of good things about. I'm a little bit apprehensive about it because I don't normally play narrative heavy style games. I'm definitely more of a Euro gamer. But, sometimes change is as good as the rest. So I'm up to seeing what this game has to offer. Maybe something I can play with my girlfriend or something with a more chilled out games night. Kind of interested to see what this game has to offer because, again, I've heard it is a very strong example of its genre. Yet to get some to the table yet. It comes with a bunch of cards, lovely visual design. These nice little animal meeples and big map. So I'm actually quietly optimistic, but maybe I'm fooling myself. But still, I'm going into a game of Lands of Galzyr with an open mind. A couple of smaller games here now. So these were picked up by my brother. We have Sides, which I have played, a little word association style game, and also Word Slam Midnight. I assume this is like an NSFW version of Word Slam. I've yet to play this one. I have played this one, so I'll cover those soon. They're very simple party games, ideal for the kind of festive period. A game I have mentioned on some other top 10s is Clink. This one, kind of a party adjacent. It kind of reminds me of a hybrid of like Cockroach Poker mixed with Cabo. Where you're trying to have the lowest total of cards in front of you, but you can kind of bluff and force cards on other people. Cool game, actually. That is Clink. On to some other games I have talked about. So this is a Spectacular, a bit like Civolution. I don't think this one has featured on a ranking video yet. But that one will be coming up imminently. I think I've already recorded that content. So this is the new kind of spatial puzzle drafting game by Svensson and Svensson, actually. So great design duo there. This one, again, spoiler alert, it did feature on my top 10 of the year. I think this is a fantastic little spatial puzzle with dice drafting as well involved. Moving on, we have my game of the year. This was Rebirth, a fantastic new Knizia game. This one I can't get enough of, really. I love both sides of the map. It has a lot of the things found in other Knizia games, like, the tile placement surrounding things, linking things together, all in one harmonious package here. Lovely visual design. I love the production choices here. That is Rebirth. Again, this one's going to be featuring a lot on the channel in terms of top 10s. Because it's that good of a game. That is Rebirth. Also picked up a copy of Middle Ages. This one, definitely more of a family-friendly game from Marc Andre, actually, who is most known for designing Splendor. So this one, another game of probably that weight category, a different feeling style game. This one's more of a kind of a Euro, drafting Euro, as you're building up these columns of tiles, getting more money as you do so. Each tile has a kind of unique use and what they can do, such as destroying other people's kingdoms or getting you money based on different features. It's a lovely game, actually. I like the drafting system. That's definitely reminiscent of King Domino. So that is Middle Ages. Onto a couple I don't really know much about now. So this is Trickster. Looks like a trick-taking game designed by Daniel Solis and illustrated by Beth Sobel. So this one, again, I'm not a trick-taking fan. This was picked up by my brother. I've got really low hopes for it, but who knows, it could be good. That is Trickster. A nice little kind of promo item here. This is The Dungeon. It looks like a calendar for 2025, and as you're going through the days, you are fighting all these different monsters. I'm not quite sure how this actually works, but it says, advance your hero every day, roll your dice up to 3 times, and I suppose you see if you win or lose the fight. So, no idea what to expect this one, but it looks super cool, and a nice little gimmick there, and thank you to, sorry, We Are French. They are quite a cool company, actually. Speaking of something a bit different, I was very kindly offered a copy of Pocket Party Guide, 2 games on the go. So this is a collection of 65 easy-to-learn activities. They're basically games where you don't need many components, and there's a lot of kind of games here that as board gamers would know about. For example, there's like games like Insider and stuff like that. Just different ways of explaining them. But it's a nice little collection here, and I'll leave a link in the notes if you want to pick yourself up a copy, because this will make a nice little gift, and it's nice to have all of these games in one place, and these are so widely accessible games that you can play them with almost anybody. So that is Pocket Party Guide to Games on the Go. Back to the games then. I was again kindly offered a copy of Peacemakers Horrors of War. So this is the newest game from the Peacemakers line. I've not played any of the other Peacemaker games, which are more deck builders to my understanding. This one is a co-op game, and it has the same theme of trying to intercept these warring clans, and you're trying to strike peace basically, and by messing up with their plans and lower their motivation to fight each other. So I do like the different approach of the war game here. Again, you are these cutesy little creatures. It kind of has a pandemic-y style system where these two factions are fighting each other kind of passively, and you're messing with the decks, trying to be in the right place at the right time. And I have played this one, so I will be covering it in a review pretty shortly. I didn't know this one was coming out, so I was quite excited to play it because I had heard a lot of good things about all of the Peacemaker games. So that is Peacemakers, a Horror of War. Now, an older game now, with Vegas Showdown. So this is a bidding style game as you're buying these different features, all these different rooms for your casino, and you can upgrade them as you go through these tech trees. Has a bidding system a bit like Arm & Ray, which I really like, that bumping system where you can bid higher on the same track as somebody else and they kind of have to go somewhere else or outbid you. And I like the mix with the actual spatial puzzle of building your own casino, trying to link all the kind of entrances and exits together to get some bonus points. Kind of a minimalist style bidding game and some tile placement, but has it aged well? You'll have to stay tuned for my content on that game. On to another big beast now. I have Black Forest. So it's rare that I pick up Rosenberg games, but I was really enamoured by the idea of this one because out of all the Rosenberg farming style games, Glass Road was one of my favourites, and I wanted to revisit that resource system. And when I heard that that system was being used in a more traditional Euro sense rather than being a card-driven one like Glass Road, I wanted to see if this was the final, the perfect example of a Rosenberg game design for me. So again, I have played this one, and my review will be dropping very soon. I just need to, I think, play the last game of my, of my 5 review games for that particular video. So, yeah, I'm not going to share any more than that, but it is coming out. So that is Black Forest. I have a copy of Couture here. Yet to play this one. This is like a little I Split You Choose set collection game, to my understanding. I remember looking at this one and quite a while ago. I didn't really go back and revisit it, but I like the art style here. That little I split you choose mechanism looks cool. It's generally a mechanism I like. So this one could be a silent hit. And a couple of expansions to talk about. Finally got the copy of the Interbellum expansion for Furnace. So Furnace, a game I'd really like actually. I think it's a solid little engine builder. Super quick. I like the bidding system. This one just adds a few more little modules. I can't quite remember what these different modules do, but you've got these like dials and things. But I have looked into it before, and I think this is going to be a nice addition to Furnace to inject some life into the game. Speaking of expansions, I also picked up a copy of the Egypt expansion for Deus. I have already played that one. That was a really nice expansion. Adds more variety into the game to try different decks with your setup, and you can mix them with the base game as you see fit. And let's move on to some of the games that I didn't buy myself. So first of which is Joyride, which is kind of a stolen version of Power Boats. I've yet to play Power Boats. It's always a game I wanted to try out. Even if it's probably not going to be for me, I thought it's kind of known as being one of the most kind of chaotic and mean games out there. So I thought I owe it to myself to give it a go. But this seems to be the only way of playing it at the moment. I know there's some controversy about, stealing the idea and stuff. But I will review the game in a vacuum, and if it's good, it's good. Also, Forks. This is another little I Split You Choose game. Lightning fast. I'm not quite sure how this one works in detail. Romy Rammy, tiny little card game where you're drafting these cards rummy style, trying to complete these objectives, and that will also tailor your point scoring at the end. Wanted to play this one for quite some time now. Diluvium, I know nothing about this one at all. This was a pick-up by my brother. I don't know how this one works, but hopefully it's good. Ironwood is one that I have already reviewed on the channel. I like this one. Again, there is a review up if you want to check it out, but one that wasn't quite right for me. And also Take a Seat. This is a polyomino style game as you're trying to fill up seats in a cinema with variable objectives. Looks like there's quite a bit going on here, but generally speaking, I like polyomino style games, especially when they tackle that idea from a different perspective. So that is Take a Seat. I think I'll like that one. So that's it really. That's all of the games I have picked up. Again, 22 different games here, or with expansions. Games that I've bought, games my brother's bought, some games I have high hopes for, some games I don't have high hopes for, and everything in between. So again, lots of games coming through, and hopefully you're interested in at least seeing a few of these. So if you have enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Check out my other content too, and for everybody else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye bye.